Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of other shapes that will come in useful when you're wanting to create things quickly and digitize things quickly in Inkstitch. So the first one is a leaf shape, and there's lots of different ways to get the leaf shape. Everyone kind of has their favorite method. My favorite method is just to control click and draw a circle so that I get a perfect circle. And then I Command Shift C, press A, so I get my points here. And then I'm going to select these 2 points, drag and select the middle 2 points. And then I'm going to press this um, corner selection, corner node tool twice. Now I'm going to go back to my selector tool, hold down the shift key and drag that in. And that's a basic leaf shape. So now I'm going to press A again, go to drag select these 2 middle points and break those apart. And then I'm going to come to this side and I'm going to go Command R to reverse that line, and now they're both pointing up. Still combined shape. So I'm going to go Command Shift P. So I'm going to come down here. If you ever find that this window is just staying up and params is not coming up, it's because your params window is probably behind something else or hidden, so, or minimized. So you can come down here to your menu, click on the Inkstitch icon, and it should bring up your params. So now that we have this design up, we're going to go to Satin, and that's going to be our satin leaf. And I want it to come from the outside in for later use. So I'm going to go ahead and reverse my rails, reverse both rails. Now it'll stitch from the upper to the lower part. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit apply and quit. And I'm going to change my object properties to say hit set, come in here and place it there. And now you can delete that clone of it. So, and similarly to the star, we're now going to use that basic satin shape to create a flower. So we're going to drag that there. Now we're going to also use our satin circle. So bring your circle out and go ahead and edit, clone, unlink clone. I'm going to make that smaller there. So leaf shape, and we're going to click it once with the selector tool, click it twice. Let's go ahead and actually move our circle so that's perfectly centered on our guidelines. And then we're going to click that twice, and we're going to move our rotation center to the center of the circle. So now with that selected and on the rotate tool, you're going to hold down Control, and that's going to snap it 15 degrees. And with the Control button pressed, you can hit the space bar. and it'll make a copy. And you can make as many of those as you want. And you can see that my leaf shape is a little wide, so there's some overlap. And there's a couple of things I can do to fix that. So I'm going to back up here. And one is obviously to make this more narrow, but I can also make my circle bigger. And if I shift and select, it'll make it larger from the center. So there's an extra copy of my leaf shape there. So now I can move that up, press it twice, move my rotation center to the center of the circle, and then I can begin rotating this with the control button and pressing my space bar. There you go. So as long as, and I was wondering if there was two there. Yeah, you don't need to hit the space bar on the last one. I'm going to look at this circle shape. Okay, it's still 6 by 6, so it's not too wide. And this has a height of 10 millimeters, but not a width. And we want to make sure we don't go over 10 millimeters on our width because your machine's going to have trouble stitching that out. So now we're going to select this whole thing and we're going to go to Command Shift Params. And it's going to stitch our leaves and then our circle. And if we look at our jump stitches, you can see this stitches down and then it comes up here. So there's a little bit of area where you can see the jump stitch coming up. And you can decide if you don't want that there, then you'll need to add a trim at the end of each petal. But I think it's not going to be too noticeable. Let's see what it looks like in the realistic preview. You can also add your trim here. Trim, trim. You gotta press it twice sometimes because when it has the dash, that means that it's applied to some of your objects, but not all of them. When you click it and it has a check mark, that means it's now applied to all of your objects. And you can see there is a little jump stitch, but not like before. So, you can decide if that's okay with you. I'm going to hit cancel for now because I don't like my machine to have to trim a lot. So I'm going to hit Command Shift greater than, and that's what it's going to look like when it stitches out. And if you don't like these lines, again, just make sure that the trim box is check marked and you'll have more trims, but you won't have any of these jump stitches. So if I go one to one, that's about how big this design is going to be, and it's very minor, the jump stitches, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and leave them like that. And I'm going to press 3, takes you to just your selection. 5 is your entire canvas. 1 is 1-to-1 ratio. So that's should be about 4 inches. on your screen, or 100 millimeters. So go back to 3, and I'm going to group that, Command G, and I'm going to add that to my library as an entire flower. Well, let's change the object properties first. Set, and we're going to add that to our library. So I'm going to delete that, and we're going to do another method now. And this time we're going to draw an oval, and we're going to Command Shift C to get our points. Select this point, press that twice. Select your Shift tool, your Shift button, and that will move it inward so that you get the petal shape that you want and the size that you want. So I like that, okay. And I'm going to now digitize this into a satin stitch. I'm going to press A, select these two, break them apart, select this line over here, Command Shift or Command R, and you have both lines going up in the same direction, and they are combined. Command Shift P, and you're going to uncheck running to get your satin stitch. And I'm going to reverse this. So I'm going to reverse both rails, apply and quit. And now we have this other petal. And you can save this just as a petal for use later. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because this also can be used as like a leaf shape. So I'm going to come to my object properties. Hit set. And then add it to your library. So you will notice now this object that's on your screen, your original object, now has a weird number because it is not linked to that anymore. It's its own thing. So I'm going to delete that, bring my rounded petal back, edit, clone, unlink clone, Command Shift P to make sure that my petal is stitching the way I want it to. Deselect that. And then I'm going to bring my circle, edit, clone, unlink clone. I'm going to center that circle in my petal. Click on it twice to get your center origin to show up. Move that to the center of the circle. Holding down while you're in rotate, holding down the control key to snap. You're going to press the space bar. And again, I'm having, if you don't like that one, you can back up, holding down the control key. spacebar, 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 spacebar. And then you have this rounded petal shape. Command Shift P. Stitching our petals first and then the center. And then there we go. So I'm going to apply and quit. Command Shift greater than to see what it looks like. Press 1. This one is larger than my other shapes, but I still don't mind the jump stitches. Kind of adds visual interest in my opinion. So I'm going to delete that. Select my flower. Just make sure, again, that your petals are not more than 10 millimeters wide, or that your circle's right at 10 millimeters, so should work okay. Command G. Adjust your properties. And add your library. Delete that.